tortured. It's From the Front Row with Johnathan T. Rokford.
Who knows what goes through that person's mind? Nah, R2D2 was ride or die. You can keep it secret. That's my 2 cents. But I believe. Can't change my mind. What's up, folks? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford, here with another edition of From the Front Row. And what a crazy week we've had, mostly from the game changer side of things. I mean, last week we had a prison match. This week, we get a promise of a game-changing event from the Master Sean Buff. Then he loses within seconds to the Big G Bowski, who then promises us some more action. And he comes up short to the First Lady, Alexa Leslie. And we finally think we're going to have some good competition going on. But she beats the horror show. And then moves on to Mark 69. And finally, we have a match up of game changer quality. But alas, like most people, she too suffered the loss of the game changer title. So we have a new game changer champion, Mark 69. And we'll see what happens to him. He should be defending it at Royal Rumble. We'll see. But in other action, we had Chris Salas versus the Messiah taking place. And in true fashion, as always, the Messiah loses to Casalas. It was a close match, though. At least it was a very competitive match. He just got unlucky with a very unlucky roll up by Casalas. I mean, he's 1/3 of the trio's champs. You gotta expect him to have a little trick up his sleeve. Now, in our next match, it was the Lady Assassin taking on Jermaine Walker. And she, as always, tough. But after all, she was going up against Jermaine Walker. She needed to be a little bit more than tough to beat Jermaine Walker. And Jermaine added her to his list of people he's beaten here in WPA. Now, here's a match we saw this outcome coming, as Hikaru Hartwell, our newcomer here in WPA, was able to defeat none other than Martel Carpenter. It was almost like, if you want somebody to take a loss when they get here, put them up against one of the top 5 or Johnny Rocco. If you want to get a win, put them up against Martel Carpenter. Just saying. Seems like a spot to be. But congratulations, Hikaru, on your first win here in WPA. I'm pretty sure you will meet Martel again at some point in time. Hopefully you get Kwani. That's another good win, usually. Now, our next match saw the Switchblade taking on the Wraith. And Switchblade overcame an early onslaught by the Wraith and won the match. But I won't say he's lucky, because the Wraith really loves to fight. But hey, you win some, you lose some. Last night, Switchblade was the one able to win one. Now, our next match saw the Supreme Knight taking on the Emperor 2K Anomalium. And folks, there's no shame in losing to the Emperor. Every now and then he has a good night. And he had one last night as he was able to pick up the win over the Supreme Knight. Now here's a match that afterwards went off the rails. As you know, Johnny Rocco, a while back, called out Lucius, telling him he ran from him and they supposed to have a match back in the day and he blah blah blah, yada yada yada, and you ran from it twice. Kind of went back and forth, then it got quiet. Which is when I got worried. Because when Johnny Rocco gets quiet, that means something's going to happen. And it did. Johnny Rocco versus Luscious Lucius. And in true fashion, in technical fashion, Johnny won the match. But people were kind of transfixed on the bag he had brought to his corner. And folks, no sooner did the bell ring to signal the end of the match, and the ref raised Johnny Rocco's hand in victory, then he went to that bag and pulled out a pair of handcuffs and handcuffed Luscious Lucius to the corner. And then he proceeded to beat him with a kendo stick to the point the kendo stick broke. And he jumped and got another one. And the crowd was cheering it on. He kept hitting him with the kendo stick to the point news reporter lady jumped in the ring to try to shield Luscious Lucius from getting hit. And Johnny Rocco was ready to still swing. His own sinister brothers had to come down there and pull him away. Good Lord, watch what you say to Johnny Rocco sometimes. He was unhinged. Luckily, they were able to take Luscious Lucius to the hospital, and after they took the cuffs off. But man, I'm pretty sure them two will meet somewhere again down the road. But I would have hated to feel that kendo stick with Johnny Rocco. It doesn't look like it feels good. Now, in our next match, our Game Changer champ, Mark 69, was taking on the Essential Jay LeMasters. And Jay LeMasters didn't care if he was a Game Changer champ. He went out there and he beat him. Man, you win a Game Changer match and get a title, and then you lose your scheduled match. You get a blemish on your record. Now, as if adding insult to injury, the First Lady Alexa Leslie was taking on Quanny Fist, and and she lost to Quanny Fist. She gets added to the wall of people who lose to Quanny. Somebody named Quanny. That is not a list I'd want to be on. No. Now, the next match was the Beast versus Red Death. And the Beast, he's been in a weird way. He lost to Big Mel, finally. And then last night, he lost to Red Death. In a very close match, but still. You know, may have to maybe ask his agent or somebody, what's going on with the Beast? Why is he so distracted? I mean, it's just Big Mel he lost to. It could have been that big of a deal, could it? Speaking of which, Big Mel was taking on Needles Kane. and picked up a narrow win. But I'm telling you, it was a competitive night. There's only a few matches that were just out there. Now our next match saw the Big J Bowski taking up a match against Casper 2779, and he was outraged that he had to take a match against calling Casper the Ghost, and Casper didn't take too lightly to that. No. So just like his brother Big Mel, who won his match against Needles Kane, Casper took on the Big J Bowski and won. I bet you Big J Bowski didn't see that one coming. It's like almost as if the Game Changer title this past week was a curse. Most people that had it in their possession lost. I'm seriously, Flip. Watch, I'll show you in a minute. Big J Bowski had it, lost. Mark 69 now has it, lost. The First Lady Alexa Leslie had it, lost. I mean, who else had it? Oh, I'm gonna skip ahead. Horror Show Holmvik had it. Was involved in the match. Lost to Shepard Bane. It was a curse. It was the curse of the Game Changer title this week. If you had it, or you was in the match with it, you lost your scheduled match. Now, Big J Bowski, lost. Crazy Canuck was supposed to go against Texas Hate You. Texas Hate You couldn't make it, so they found a substitute for him. South Bronx Savage. Crazy Canuck, lost. If you had your hands on that Game Changer title this week or the last couple weeks, it was like a loss was coming your way. It's crazy. Now, our next match. Like I said, the Beast lost to Red Death. They weren't in a Game Changer title, but might as well been, huh? It was a Dark Stalker, our WPA World Champ, taking on the Super Champion King. And folks, the Super Champion King surprised our champ and beat him. I mean, most places you go, that'd be a call out. Like, I beat you. I should be putting a match with you. You probably won't, though. You probably have to earn it like everybody else. Just because you beat the champion, which doesn't really say much here. You beat him. Not really saying a lot, though. Not saying he's a pushover or anything, but we're not. Now, like I said, Horror Show Holmvik suffered a loss to Shepard Bane. And yeah, another Game Changer casualty. This is a Game Changer chair. The belt itself was undefeated this week. Just taking out people in their official matches. Now, one person who dominated the match was the Queen Starlin J, taking on Nergante, and she came out firing on all cylinders, heading into Royal Rumble hot. Oh yeah, it was like Nergante didn't have an answer for her after he hit her the first time. He hit her one time, and then she took over. had an answer for every move he tried, showing us why she's our Intercontinental Champion. Our next match was Lycan Umbras taking on Money, MF, and Mike, and after stupidly taking on the match with Jermaine Walker last week and losing not only the match but his title too. Lycan got back on his winning ways by beating Money, MF, and Mike. I don't know how he's gonna get that title back. I mean, God, all you had to do was win 4 consecutive matches, and bam, you were in there, guaranteed IC match. That's all you had to do. I tell you, folks, watch what you say and put your foot in your mouth. Now, our last singles match was Shona versus Whiskey Warrior in the battle for Shona's services. And folks, we gotta look in the book real quick, but she lost last week to Mark 69. I wonder, maybe it was Crystal Shona that made him lose. Never know. But we started off Shona's journey as she lost to the Big J Bowski. And we thought, oh boy, this is going to be trouble. Now, she followed that up with a double count out draw against Horshow Homevik. Followed that up by a loss to Mark 69. So she's like one loss away from becoming the property. But the Whiskey Warrior mysteriously disappeared and the win was awarded to Shona. Folks, the pressure's on her old faction. And it's on Crazy Canuck. If he loses or they tie, she wins. Because after all, they have to beat her 3 times. And they've only done it twice. It's 2-2. The next match decides it all, folks. It's going to be crazy. I mean, coming somebody's property and whatnot. You never know what you can do.
Oh, God. Johnathan's going on another rant. When we learn to turn the channel, when he starts to come up with an angle for a story, it's kind of pitiful, actually. He knows if this match ends with Shona winning, that's the end of his story.
But
whatever.
We'll see what happens, though. The whole women's locker room is rooting for Shona to win this match so she doesn't become their property. Now, in the IC #1 contender match, we had Sean Puff versus Lucha Libre versus the Brass Hole. And folks, the Lucha Libre, after what 3rd time, won the #1 contender match and will now go on to face the Queen Starlin J for the IC title. Once again, folks, another person involved in the Game Changer match, Master Sean Puff, lost his match because Lucha Libre was able to pin him to get the victory and go on to Royal Rumble and challenge the Queen. And don't tell Philip, he'll probably see this and get mad. I think the Lucha Libre is going to win this time. Just saying. Prior IC champ himself. We'll see what happens. Now, in our last match, we had Captain Chaos taking on the Prince of Crime, Delirious, folks. And then after a hard match, back and forth, Delirious was able to overcome the odds and pick up the win and become our new WPA television champion. That's it, folks. We have a new champion here in WPA with the TV title. And he won it at the right time. He gets a little break this weekend at Royal Rumble. Not to defend it start till Monday. Concentrate fully on trying to win the Royal Rumble. Now, spots for the Royal Rumble have been announced. Hopefully you got a good spot in the men's and women's Royal Rumble. As we, last year, it was Johnny Rocco won the Royal Rumble. Yeah, shocking. Eating out Lucha Libre. We'll see. Talking back in the underground is he'd like to win it again just to say he did it twice. But as always, folks, don't drink and drive. Make sure you hug your loved one, and make sure you pick up the phone and call that friend that might need to hear your voice. I'm Johnathan T. Rocco, folks. I'm out of here. No. Oh, popcorn tastes weird. Hey. You know you have Snickers type candy looks like popcorn? Good evening, WPA. Once again, you have the honor and privilege of hearing my voice grace your airways as I bring you another one of my extraordinary picks for the week. And leading up to Royal Rumble, I fully expected all of our performers here in WPA to be at their top-notch performance rate. But only one performer stood out to me this week. And in dominating fashion, and I'm proud to say, once again, the Queen, Starling J, is my pick for the week, as she quickly dispatched the vagabond Gante. Yes, indeed. Our Intercontinental Champion prepares to go into Royal Rumble and face Lucha Libre, a very worthy opponent. I swear the way she took care of Nagante, it was a masterpiece. Worthy of being my top pick. She used grade A technical skills in the ring last night. Oh yes. I was astounded by her. Yes. I dare say that she's not just a queen, but a goddess. who shall not be matched by any of you other vagabonds here in WPA. Yes, indeed. I mean, it is no surprise. Let's see, tomorrow, month is drawing close to an end. And my end of the month picks, my top 10, shall come. Everyone that's stepping their game up, or at least everyone that's there is to show up. Will you make my top 10 for the month? You still have time. To you, Queen, I wish you good luck on your march at Royal Rumble. Represent well. Who knows, you may be at the top of my top 10 again. Until then, I bid you a good day. I said good day.